Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. As announced, we're dealing with gatherers and crafter jobs, so I start with a botanist. Hello there, and welcome to the Botanist Guild. What brings you here today? Interested in becoming a botanist, are you? Then you've come to the right place. At our guild you can study under some of the finest botanists in all the realm. An enticing proposition, is it not? So what say you? Would you like to add your name to our roll? Excellent. Now you're doubtless eager to dive headlong into the newest shrubbery, but first a brief explanation of the origins of the Botanist Guild. Our guild boasts a long history. Its roots can be traced back some 500 years, to when our nation was still in its infancy. It was around that time that a precursor organization to our own was established to facilitate communion with the elementals. But I suspect you're already confused not being forest-born. Let me put it in a way that your kind would understand. The 12th root doesn't belong to man, but almighty beings known as elementals. It is by their leave that we Gedanians dwell here in the forest, and it is by their leave that we receive of its bounty. Ever since mankind settled in the 12th root, it has been necessary for us to obtain the elementals' permission prior to taking aught from their domain. Historically, this is a rather involved process in that only a precious few could actually commune with them, specifically those conjurers blessed with the ability to hear the elementals, aptly known as hearers. In order to relay the elementals' will to the botanists in a more timely manner, a new organization was formed with a hearer at its mouth and ear. This organization would eventually become the Botanist Guild. To this day, the guild employs the services of a hearer who offers guidance to our members, yet it's no longer our organization's sole concern. We also seek to promulgate correct harvesting practice, that is, practices that will honor the will of the elementals. And that, my friend, is the story of how our guild came to be. I trust you have a newfound appreciation for the work we do? Now, with all this talk of elementals and communing, mayhap you are wondering whether you're fit to join us. Well, you may cast such doubts aside. You don't need to have been raised as a good little forest-born girl to be a botanist, nor do you need to know the secret forest-born salute. I jest. You just need a healthy respect for nature and the will to learn. If you honestly believe you possess these things, it would be my pleasure to recommend you to our guildmaster. Please wait a moment while I see to the formalities. Music to my ears, it will be my pleasure to refer you to Guildmaster Fufusha. Our Guildmaster's knowledge of nature is second to none. One need only witness her uncanny knack for spotting the finest timber to see that hers is a truly God's-given talent. It is for this reason that she holds the title of First Botanist. Oh, but you need not be overawed. She is the kindest of souls. You will find the Guildmaster just outside the building. Seek her out and impress upon her your desire to become a botanist. I'm Fufusha, the master of the guild. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I take it Leon Sold has given you an overview of botany already? Well then, I suppose I better continue where she left off. All Gedanians may rightly claim to share a close relationship with nature, but none so intimate as that of a botanist. It is our calling to nurture the natural environment to the mutual benefit of man and wood. But even as nature holds us in her loving embrace, providing for our every need, she is at heart an unsentimental creature, one that will take life just as readily as she gives it. Being a botanist means coming face to face with this uncomfortable truth on a regular basis. Knowing this, do you still wish to walk our path? Yes? The look in your eyes bespeaks the passion in your heart. Very well, I bid you welcome to the Botanist Guild. To help you on your way, I present you with this hatchet. Take it up and present yourself to me again. I would assign you your first task as a botanist of a guild. see you have your hatchet on you. Very good. A botanist's hatchet is his livelihood. Never forget this. If you fail to keep its blade clean and keen, your efforts will yield you naught but sweat and splinters. But let us see about your first task. Ah yes, to help you grasp the basics of botany, I would like you to gather 10 pots worth of latex. The forest yields to us many and more resources. It's the botanist's job to know what can be found and where. If it is latex you require, you do well to search just outside the blue badger gate. Seek out the major trees that stand in those areas and then put your hatchet to good use. I wish you well. And here we are outside the blue badger gate in the central shard. Botanist and miner works just the same way. It's very easy. You activate the triangulate ability to see the gathering spots. Then you go to the gathering spot. See that here, mature trees. And click what you want to gather. There is, depending on your stats, equipment, and level, and so on, there is a percentage chance of success and a percent chance to get an item of high quality. For the first gathering attempt of an item, first successful gathering attempt of an item, you get a bit of extra experience. And as you can see, he is hacking at the same tree, but it doesn't cost me anything. Our gathering points are separate from each other. Which is nice. No, not for monster. Fighting monsters in this kind of job is not a good idea. Okay. Yeah, that's basically the fundamentals of botany. Later you get some skills that increase, I don't know, your gathering, where you can increase your gathering chance and stuff like that. But that will be later. How goes the gathering effort? Lest you forget, latex can be found just outside Blue Badger Gate. I have enough, thank you. Ah yes, precisely 10 pots of latex, just as I instructed. You've done well. Latex is easy to find and equally easy to harvest. As such, collecting the stuff is an ideal task for young botanists who are learning their way around the hatchet. Yet know that being able to swing that tool does not make you a botanist. You must also possess the knowledge to locate the resources you seek. That will be all from me for the present. I urge you to keep owning your senses and skills as a botanist. Gather near and far and learn from your experiences. I look forward to seeing you again when you've become better acquainted with our trade. Till then, I bid you happy gathering. Yeah, I'm by now level 5, so we can continue right here. Except for smiles. Hello again, Serenia. I'm told you've been putting your hatchet to good use. Well done. Yet, as I mentioned before, hacking away at trees does not make you a botanist. You must also strive to deepen your understanding of nature. I say this in the knowledge that you have done just that. Whether you realize it or not, you have the air of a woman who is at ease with the world around her. I believe you are ready for your next task. I would like you to go to Tree Speak and harvest 50 pots worth of maple sap. Once you have enough, pray deliver the sap to Sicily. She will be pleased to receive it. Off you go now. Okay, that is in the North Shroud. Straight west from the entrance and a bit north from the chokehold stable here, where you find these trees with beehives, cinnamon, maple sap, and earth shards. So that will take a while gathering, so I won't show all of this to you, because it's not fun watching someone gather 50 pieces of anything. And done. Here you go, your 50 pieces of maple sap. Ah, the maple sap I requested. Then you must be the new botanist Fufusha has been fussing over. Perhaps where are my manners? Thank you. Why do I need so much? Well, allow me to explain. This is the very least I can do after all you've done. Boiling maple sap causes it to thicken into a sweet syrup called, you've guessed it, maple syrup. From maple syrup you can make maple sugar, an ingredient used in various recipes, particularly confectionery. From cakes and tarts to toffees and chocolates. In short, all things children love. You've probably guessed it by now, but the maple sap you harvested will be used to make sweets for the children. Those poor souls who were orphaned by the calamity. They may put on a brave face, but their eyes reveal the depths of their sorrow. There's precious little joy left in their lives. But Gridania won't abandon them. No matter your walk in life, there's always something you can do to help. Though it may only last a fleeting moment, a single smile of hers is worth all the effort. My apologies, I got carried away. Now where was I? Ah yes! In addition to maple sap, we botanists gather various other kinds of food stuff. As such, we work quite closely with culinarians, those disciples of the hand who excel at cooking. We're also in good terms with woodworkers and weavers, as both are reliant upon us to supply the lumber and fiber they need for their respective crafts. As botanists, it behooves us to learn the manner of materials are used in crafting, and there's no better way to do so than firsthand. If you're with an interest, you might consider dabbling in one of the disciplines out there. I also urge you to make a habit of reviewing the gathering log. As you know, as your knowledge of botany grows, more will the contents become comprehensible to you. Well, I'd best see to the maple sap. It was lovely talking to you. Yeah, you can only see gathering spots where those levels are at the most 5 levels above yours. Admittedly, you probably wouldn't be able to harvest all that much farther, even if you could see them. Simply because your stats are insufficient to have an actual gathering chance. Okay, Fufusha. What's the next quest? Level 10. Ah, Serenia. You couldn't have come to a more opportune time. I have a favor to ask. We just received an urgent request from the Order of a Twin Adder. They ask that we supply me with 99 crow feathers as soon as possible. Crows often leave behind feathers where they perch, which can be used to make arms and armor. The situation must be grim indeed if the Order has need for such large amount. It would not do to keep the defenders of our nation waiting. I would be most glad if you could help us fulfill this order. Crow's feathers can be found in abundance in the area south of Gilbert Spire. Once you have procured 99, promptly deliver them to Sicily. I've given you charge over our stores. My thanks in advance. Okay, this is again in the Central Shroud. I recorded this far later now. This is actually me level, what's this, 65? Here in the Central Shroud, a bit east of the first gathering spot, where you have these major trees, level 10. Where you can find the crow feathers and some other stuff. They are along this river here just south of the bridge. Okay. And here are your 99 crow feathers. Ah, crow feathers, you have my thanks. Doubtless you already know this from Fufusha, but the Order of a Twin Adder has requested the feathers. If I heard true, they are in the midst of preparing for war against the Exile. The crow feathers are needed to make arms and armor, feathered harpoons, plumed dew crooks, and the like. It's fine feeling being able to do our part to help those men and women who defend our nation. But no need to need the feathers in such large quantities. It gives me pause to imagine the bloodshed that lies ahead. Will the Twelfthwood ever know true peace? But there I go again with the wistful ramblings. Feel free to ignore me. Now before you forget, Fusha asked me to give you something on her behalf. A scythe. The scythe is what we call a secondary tool. Used in your offhand, it allows you to harvest from lush vegetation in addition to the mature trees you already know as so well. That Fusha has seen fit to make you this gift is proof positive of your progress. You're no longer a novice, my friend. I dare say you're ready to try your hand at fieldcraft glaives, perhaps even take on Grand Company work. But first, I recommend you head into the wood and find some lush vegetation to try that new scythe out. Off you go, and come back when you have more experience points gathered. So yeah, not only trees, now we can harvest from bushes as well. Ah, my dear Serenia, you're looking ever more a botanist. I do believe you are ready to take on further responsibilities for the guild. Guilds such as ours exist only by virtue of a corporation of their members. Each individual must set an example for the rest of a collective if a collective is to thrive. The time comes for you to set such an example. A matter has arisen, the handling of which I would entrust wholly to you. You may deal with it as you see fit, providing you see the problem solved. The matter in question concerned a valued client of ours, the merchant Alpgast. It would appear one of our number has done something to upset him. Pray seek out the merchant at the ebony stalls and inquire after a reason for his ire. Oh, and choose your words well, lest you add fuel to the fire. Fufusha sent you, did she? Good. I'm not a man to mince words, forgive me if I seem blunt. You already know what Marjoram is? Of course you do. You're a bleeding botanist. It's a very common ingredient in alchemy, isn't it? Very common. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you botanists supposed to be the experts in harvesting such stuff? Yes, you are. Strange then that the expert who brought me my last batch of fresh Marjoram didn't so much harvest the poor plants as dismember them. Why the leaves were so torn up, I couldn't recognize what they were at first. Needless to say, they're next to useless. So thanks to your herb-hacking colleague, I have no Marjoram to make my concoctions, which is why I inquired at your guild, only to be told you were out of supplies, and here we are. Now it ain't too much trouble, I would be obliged if you could bring me 10 sprigs of fresh Marjoram. In fact, only Marjoram of the finest quality will do, as opposed to the fine bleeding puree your Bosch butchering colleague delivered. Truth be told, I don't care much about your Hatchet happy friend. What I do care about is not keeping my customers waiting for the medicine. In short, hurry! Oh, and for the love of God, be gentle with the plants, will you? I shouldn't have to say it, but after the last block I'm not taking any chances. Yep, and Marjoram is on the opposite side of, in the west of, well, not whole west, but west of us, of the Blue Butcher Gate exit in the Central Shroud, in the lush vegetation. Over there is that tree route that leads up to the level 30 area if you truly want to go there. But you will find the gathering spots down here. In the lush vegetation, not the mature trees where you find lumber and stuff like that. Okay. Your Marjoram, sir. Also mind that Marjoram had to be in high quality here. You will find that often in these quests. Ah, the Marjoram, and such fine specimen. I'm sorry I get you such a hard time, friend. Thanks to you I get back to making echo drops. Do you know of echo drops? They're an alchemical concoction that restores voices to silence lips, allowing the imbiber to cast spells again. Conjurers and thaumaturgs never leave without a bottle or three. But I must say, these are some of the finest specimens of Marjoram I've seen, and they're none the worse for the picking. It's clear you know your well around the plant. As for your colleague with a heavy hand, I'm certain your guild will deal with him appropriately. Thanks again, and send my regards to Fufusha. Ah, there you are. Thanks for a job well done. There's no need to report. I've already heard all I need to know. It is my belief that the botanist in question has naught but personal gain in mind when he so hurriedly harvested the Marjoram. In his haste to complete the task and claim its rewards, he damaged the herb and rendered them useless. Such greed brings shame on our guild, and I will not tolerate it. The offender's name shall be struck from our roll. As I taught you when you first came to us, a botanist nurtures the natural environment to the mutual benefit of man and wood. He who thinks only of his own benefit has no respect for nature and is unfit to call himself one of us. Of course, you hardly need reminding of this. Something tells me you shall never give me cause to worry. But let us speak of cheerier matters. Tell me, did gathering the Marjoram pose you any trouble? Not really. If you ever find your work unduly onerous, you might consider outfitting yourself with better gear. As you gain knowledge and experience, you will find yourself venturing farther afield in search of new bounty, and your choice of equipment will become ever more critical. Go now and keep up your efforts. I look forward to seeing you continue to grow as a botanist. Yeah, even here equipment matters. Equipment with the stats, gathering and perception is what you want. With accessories that give GP, well, here in the beginning it doesn't matter too much. Good evening, Serenia. I see from the soil on your hands that have been diligent as ever in your botany. I'm not surprised. As we develop more skills, so do our labors become more varied, and thus does our motivation grow. Yet know that motivation can only take one so far. If you wish to master botany, you must pay heed to those details which you have until now taken for granted. In particular, I speak of gears, the tools of our trade. Not all tools are created equally, you see, and if you are to work with any degree of efficiency, you must use such gear as befits your ability. Lest you misunderstand, I'm not telling you to go and replace your gear. There's a more frugal way to improve your tools, and one more respectful to nature besides. Tell me, have you heard of materia? It's a kind of crystal that can be used to enhance the efficacy of gear. In the past, the enhancement process required a certain catalyst found throughout nature, the gathering of which was our domain, but new method has rendered it obsolete. Be that as it may, these substances still make for ideal subjects for training of budding botanists such as yourself. Therefore, for your next task, I would like you to gather a quantity of one such crystal, namely Grade 1 carbonized matter. 99 fragments should suffice. A thorough search of the area surrounding Aleport will surely prove useful. The hamlet lies in western Andalusia, upon the island of Wilburn. Once you have gathered the requisite amount, pray present the carbonized matter to Sandre. He will teach you the basics of materia. Yeah. Fufusha is not lying. The gathering spots are literally right outside of Aleport. Right in front of the town. Here, these trees. Of course, 99 things are a lot, especially considering that carbonized matter here. This is literally a useless item. You only need it for this quest and the same quest for the miner. Okay. Yeah, here are your 99 fragments. Yeah, let's speak of materia. Materia... Yeah, I don't know. Have I ever explained materia? I don't know. Anyway, in case I haven't, materia, basically, you wear gear until you have a spirit bond of 100%, and then you can convert items to materia, which give a stat depending on the specific materia. And of course, there are materia who give these stats for gatherers and crafters as well. Yeah, and if you want to know more about materia, go to Mutamix in Central Fanalan. Okay. And to equip materia, you need the respective crafting job that could craft the type of item you want to equip. You want to slot the materia into, or you go to a materia melder and do it for money. Well, there are several advantages to doing it yourself if you have necessary job qualifications to do so. Okay, level 25. The last one for today. As Gridania continues to make headway along the road to recovery, ever more outsiders shall flock to her gates. They come here in hopes of trading, and Gridania must welcome them if she is to forge stronger bonds with her neighbors and prosper. Make no mistake, Serenia, busy times lie ahead. Verily, we just received an order of no fewer than 2,000 fine quality sprigs of chamomile from the quicksand in Uldar, so run along and harvest them, would you? I jest, of course. A task of this scale would require more than 2 hands. If you would be so good as to procure, say, 15 sprigs, I would consider it an appropriate contribution. Chamomile is well known for its fragrant aroma and soothing properties. There is satisfaction to be had in ensuring that folks from every corner of the realm can sample the delight of this great staple. Do you not agree? The herb is abundant in Upper Lanosea, around Oakwood to be precise. Once you have harvested 15 sprigs, pray deliver them to Sundry. And yes, right in the entrance of Oakwood, when you come from direction in Aleport. Right here in Upper Lanosea are these gathering spots. Careful, there are monsters here, so you might use the sneak ability, I believe it's now called. They recently altered it for patch 5.1, that you are no longer slowed down. Oh, and here you see this for the first time. When you have never gathered an item, it was unknown. They changed that too, and you had to make tremendous effort to actually find the stuff. By now, that also is changed. So you know what item you're farming, and you just get more experience for doing so the first time. Overall, 5.1 brought massive improvements to gathering. So Fufusha has you harvesting chamomile as well. Return here when you have 15 sprigs and add them to the pile. While you harvest, I shall wonder how in the 7 hells I'm supposed to strip them all. "13, 14, 15. Aye, precisely 15 sprigs of chamomile. My thanks, friend." Ah, that distinct aroma. There's nothing like chamomile tea to calm the nerves. It's a perfect way to end the day, I reckon. And now all I have to do is wait for our fellow harvesters to bring the rest, pack the lot and drag it all to the airship landing. I expect I will have earned a cup or 2 of tea when it's done, though I rather suspect that will be the very last thing I fancy. I don't know if Fufusha mentioned, but this batch is bound for Uldar. It would seem the lords and ladies who have developed a taste for chamomile tea. Developed a taste, I said, but like as not they drink it just to impress their neighbors. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if each cup was served on a golden saucer. But there I go again, spouting my old prejudices. It's bad Gridanian habit, I know. Sooner or later I have to get rid of it. Don't want a visiting Uldan to splat hot tea in my face now, do I? Okay. But I think with that I end this episode. It was decently long. Next episode we continue the Botanist and yeah, up to level 50. So we continue Botanist for A Realm Reborn. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.